COVID.
We're going to go to Superchats, so if you haven't already, would you kindly smash that like button? Subscribe to this channel, share the show if you really do like it. Word of mouth really, really does help. And head over to timcast.com, click join us, become a member. We're going to have an uncensored members-only show coming up. Tucker Carlson's got an interview coming out, and we're going to talk about this Obama and his proclivities on the members-only uncensored show. So we look forward to seeing you there. Plus, we're going to take calls from you, our audience, and our members. Let's read some Superchats. Crazy Blake says, love you guys. Keep up the good work. Rip Roberto. Roberto's still alive. It's Roberto Jr. I have bad news. Vanessa passed away in her sleep.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. Man, so few OG chickens are remain.
What is a typical chicken lifespan?
10 years.
Oh, wow. So these ones are going quickly.
But, I mean, they die for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
You know, so one had cancer. The chickens that we got, we were warned were a weak batch. We got them in the winter, and it was like, you know, you're going to lose some of them because they're fairly weak, you know, in the winter and all that stuff. But I don't know. Vanessa's been around for almost she was 3.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. Roberto Jr. we knew had issues. When he would crow, he would collapse, and so we didn't know what to expect. And then he had a heart attack and died suddenly. It's unfortunate.
It's very sad.
But I think we've only lost maybe like 5 out of the massive amount of chickens that we have. So. You know, and yeah.
How's his heir doing?
We have Roberto the Third, and he's got a brother too. So they need some names. I'll have to figure it out. And Roberto's in there as well. We just, you know, we don't want him banging his daughters, so he's got to stay separate for the time being until we move some everybody around. All right. Zimemeru says, I like you, Jackson, but you had one bizarre take on the Avatar movie. Also, have you guys seen the first day out Trump rap song? AI is going to make 2024's meme war next level. I have not seen it. I will look into it. I started playing Fallout 3 again, so I'm interested in trying Starfield, but I just don't think you could ever beat Fallout 3.
Yeah, I'm going to give Starfield a try, I think. I mean, it'd be silly not to. I've been playing Bethesda games since the beginning.
I don't know. I like Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate's fun.
They're close by, too, Ian. Bethesda headquarters, Bethesda, Maryland. Well, they're actually not in Bethesda, Maryland, but they're right down the road. They're not far.
Field trip, let's go.
When's the new Elder Scrolls coming out?
It's going to be a couple years, because this one they were putting everything into in Starfield.
And they're doing Fallout 76, and they're just pushing more of that. And
I
it's just
don't know if that game's still getting updates. It
is.
I'm pretty sure they just put out a new update.
Huh.
No, I could be wrong.
It's decent.
Fallout 3 is one of the best games ever made, if not the best video game ever made. It's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
It's got Liam Neeson in it. It's got Malcolm McDowell in it.
Yeah, where you go on like the old aircraft carrier.
Felicia Day's in it. Yeah, Rivet City.
She is? I didn't know all those actors.
Pretty sure Felicia Day's in Fallout 3.
Wow. Yeah, that was groundbreaking, that game.
What's your take on the Avatar movie?
The blue people were the bad ones.
What were their
Why?
what were they bad about?
They're hoarding all the resources. These guys are just trying to come in and make life a little bit better, develop a little bit.
Real quick, no, she's in New Vegas. I was wrong about Fallout 3. Anyway, continue.
They're just the bad people. This is Wall Street, City of London. They're trying to hoard all the resources from the working man that's trying to get by.
Huh.
So if they don't know they have the resources, that what it is? It's like oil that they aren't able to synthesize yet?
I think,
but they're living on
top of it.
We've
talked about, I want to do short films that show the opposite perspective of like these famous stories and movies. Like Star Wars is about a young kid from a desert planet who's radicalized by religious zealots, they hijack a cargo ship to go blow up a military base. Darth Vader's a disabled war veteran. Like that's the story right there.
Yeah.
But that's overt. Like you literally watch that movie and that's what it is.
Yeah.
This kid's like, oh wow, you're gonna fight the rebellion, they call it, against the Empire. The Death Star was called Project Stardust. It was a military base. Anyway, I digress. There's a whole bunch of ways you could interpret other stories. With Avatar, I'm like, the short film version from the perspective of the US or the Earth interests is that they come to this planet and they see a bunch of natural resources and the natives are brutally sacrificing children and putting them on the altar and flaying them alive. And then they're like, do we ignore this or do we intervene? And then, you know, on Earth, they're like, we need to stop them from sacrificing children and pulling their hearts out. And then the activists are like, you're stealing indigenous culture.
And one more thing, if you look at the Indian Collective in the United States, that's the organization that's fighting land back for all the indigenous tribes across America right now. Guess who's the one who's funding it? It's Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos is funding the Indian Collective, land back for the indigenous people. They just want to protect the land, but there's something more sinister at play.
All right, let's read some more super chats. What have we? Where are we at? Noah Sanders says, Jackson, just want to let you know there's a fake profile of you going around following people you follow. He says, I posted a photo on X and tagged you. Don't want someone giving you a bad name. You know, to be honest, though, that happens all the time. I get messages from people who are like, did you know that there's 87,396 accounts that are imitating you? And I'm like, dude, whatever. Like, what are you supposed to do? And they're all on YouTube, and they're trying to get people to download, like, some crypto app or something. Whatever, man. That's the conspiracy theory why Elon Musk actually bought Twitter, because people kept making fake profiles of him and then doing Bitcoin scams. And he kept telling them to, like, stop, and then Twitter was like, well, whatever. So now he's like, everyone's got to be verified. No more of this.
Someone copied my profile on Instagram earlier this year, and it was like crypto advice. And they messaged my older brother and were like, hello, I've gotten interested in the stock market, or like something like that. And, you know, it was a very close copy. They changed like one letter in my username, but I definitely would not want to be mistaken for a crypto expert.
All right, Kalishnikov says, Tim, you said you like the Fallout games. Have you tried Starfield?
Hey.
If not, save your time and money. It's absolutely dreadful.
Oh.
Really? I need to know why. I need to know why now.
Yeah, what you...
Dude, so okay, here's my theory. My theory is that for the last 10, like I said, first new IP from Bethesda in 25 years, well, you raised a whole generation on Call of Duty and Fortnite. So you have a lot of this rhetoric online, in my opinion, is coming from people who are addicted to multiplayer games. They see the single player, how in-depth it is. They're like, this is a chore.
Well,
Instant
yeah, but hold on.
gratification doesn't exist here.
See, here's the thing. Bethesda purchased Fallout, the IP, and then they took the isometric game, applied its lore, which is awesome, to their basically like Elder Scrolls engine. I think they bought it from Obsidian, right? I think I'm pretty. It was Obsidian who made Fallout.
Yeah.
And then Fallout New Vegas, which everyone said was way better, was when Obsidian used their engine and then added the storyline the way they wanted it. Fallout 4 I thought was dreadful. It's like you no longer had speech options. You had like one of 4 buttons to press. It just was not enjoyable. And so while I can respect Elder Scrolls, I like Skyrim. That's fun. I'm looking forward to the new one. I thought Fallout 76 was kind of bad. They're like, there's no people in it. Like, you're the people. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
So I am willing to bet I probably will not like it.
Do they have a good alchemy crafting system?
It's very in-depth. A bunch of different crafting stations you can do for different things. It is like choose one of 4 options, but once you choose one option, it snakes into like another 3 or 4. So it's not bad, and it's a new game engine that they designed. I don't know. I just don't want to be black-pilled on everything. I do enjoy it. It's a video game. You're supposed to have fun.
Let's read some more. I mean, Baldur's Gate, I'm having fun.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. David says, Ian, give us a flex. You look like you've made progress.
Thank you. I gained about 15 pounds.
Wow.
I clocked
Congrats,
at
man.
152.
152?
Today. Yeah.
Holy
I've been carrying
crap.
weights around with me throughout the day, just a couple of 15-pound dumbbells, and then this last weekend I ate for like 48 hours. I just kept eating.
I went outside and Ian sitting on the porch curling, and I was just like,
That's
wow.
it. I took him
Just
with me
lifting
over
his
to
legs
He
Kim's
looked at him and
house.
he was like, MAGA, man.
He's got a MAGA hat on.
Feels so good.
Do you feel like more energy and everything?
Yeah, immediately. The body
yeah.
remembers. Like this morning I felt all groggy, but I started doing just core exercise, and that soreness starts off sore and then it starts to feel really good, and then it starts to wake things up.
Yeah.
In like 6 months, Ian's going to be massive. He's going to be like, yeah, I just been lifting all day.
The new Liver King.
When we hit the organ meat phase, I'm going to be really interested to see where we go from there.
Bring Luke in. He's all about that. All right, Crazy Lemur says, Georgia is blue. We tried to build low-income housing in Savannah, Georgia, and they said they won't approve our project because we are white. The city council is corrupt, and we need an OMG undercover. Well, what's Seamus doing down there?
Just
Seamus.
drawing cartoons. Like he's going to contribute
No.
to society one of these days.
Cartoons. Although I do say, I will say, his latest cartoon was really, really good. I, of course, was the voice of Fauci. And you should really check it out on FreedomToons because it's clever. Basically, COVID is a comedian who doesn't want to be political anymore. And everyone's like, huh? And they're like shocked by it. And then COVID basically explains, it was always like, haha, that unvaccinated MAGA chud died. That's what he gets. But then when it's a Democrat, it's like, haha, he got vaccinated, X amount of times and then he still gets sick and then dies or whatever. It's never just the virus that's killing people. It's always some political angle to it. And then Fauci is basically like, what does he say? He's like, did you forget who made you? You should check it out. It's funny. And then he threatens him. There you go. All right. Let's grab some more super chats. Wilson Field says Riley Gaines will be speaking at West Virginia University this Thursday. The event will be taking place at 7 p.m. at the Mountain Lair on campus. You do not need to be a student to attend.
Huh.
I, of course, will be doing Timcast IRL on Thursday, and I will be here.
I wonder if Taylor's going to be there.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
West Virginia. Where is that? But which camp is that?
I think they're
Shepherdstown?
talking about Morgantown.
Morgantown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's
Maybe.
really far away.
Yeah.
What is
It's
it
like
like
a
3, 4 hours?
2.5 hour, 3 hour drive maybe.
Well, a lot. If you're watching, maybe you should go cover it. I'm sure there's going to be some type of protest, even at Morgan. Even at
Yeah.
WVU.
Morgantown.
I'm always
Just
curious.
shy of 3 hours.
Yeah, I'm always curious to see what's happening on the college campuses, or at least nearby the college campuses if they're not allowed on.
Legama says, Mr. Hinkle, I have seen you described as a Marxist-Leninist and MAGA communist, among other things. I have read your Twitter, and it's full of things suggestive of a rejection of classical liberalism. I don't, however, want to put words in your mouth. Care to comment?
True.
To which one? MAGA communist?
Both.
Do you identify as communist?
Yes.
What is the value of communism?
Orienting government and the economy for the public good.
Do you
Yeah,
think,
but I think that's like an oversimplification.
Well,
Or
you said
idealistic.
simply that's what it is. I mean, I think that any communist state that takes form in America is going to have communist values, or American values rather. It's going to be based on the history of our country, the Constitution. I think it would be a Christian communist state, and I think that we can learn a lot from China and from the Soviet Union. But you look at China today, their economy is outpacing ours. It's gonna beat ours totally, probably within the next 5 to 10 years. Europe is going down, the U.S. is going down. China lifted 845 million people out of poverty in the last 40 years. I think that we shouldn't be China, but I think we can learn things from China and the Soviet Union and other countries that have done it successfully.
Successfully?
Do you think
Soviet
China
Union didn't do it successfully? Fell apart.
Yeah, they fell apart in 69 years.
But what did they do successfully? They took their country from its knees, from dirt, from a feudal society, basically, to the economic powerhouse that defeated Nazi Germany, the bloodiest, largest battle in all of human history.
Yeah, but we're already an economic powerhouse. So how would
Are we,
communism benefit
or
us?
Are we an economic powerhouse, or are we this Byzantine labyrinth of insurance companies, law firms that utilizes
good
Wall
point.
Street power, utilizing the dollar as a tool of financial pressure on the rest of the world? Without the dollar, America is not nothing, but it's nowhere near as strong as it is today. And when you see BRICS rising up, you see Russia, China, India, South Africa, Brazil, you see Saudi Arabia, the UAE, you see Iran, Egypt. 7 of the top 10 largest oil producing in the nations today working to create a new global reserve currency that's going to challenge the dollar. I mean, it's not the end of America, but it's not going to be pretty for us in the future.
You think that centrally planning an economy is a more effective strategy than letting the private sector take it?
I think that every economy's planned. This economy in the U.S. is planned to enrich Wall Street, rich legacy families in our country. It's built to enrich, the largest monopoly capital powers that reside within the U.S. I think China is a country that plans the economy to lift people out of poverty in regions like Xinjiang, and also focuses on giving people tax relief, helping them create new businesses, making sure that they have enough money to afford homes and healthcare and stuff like that. I think America is a country that prioritizes every single interest of the ruling class over the interests of the working man. That's why we have 60,000 homeless veterans, 600,000 homeless individuals. We have a higher ratio of homeless in our country compared to any industrialized developed nation on the face of the earth.
What about property rights? Would you suggest doing away with them?
I think we should just give property to the people. Trump's talking about this new plan for America cities. He's talking about 10 new cities across the United States. We'd have, top elite architecture specialists throughout the country that submit plans to build new cities where young Americans with families are basically going to get the opportunity to buy land, buy homes for pennies on the dollar for super cheap. And I think we should do that right now. I mean, why is it that every American is governed by debt? Every American is in debt when it comes to their home loans. Every American's in debt when it comes to student loans. even medical debt is insane right now in the United States. Why is it? This is the last thing I'll say. Everything about communism is about taking power away from the wealthy hordes, the Sacklers, the Rockefellers, the Bushes, all these families that are hoarding our wealth, our resources in America right now and keeping it for themselves for who knows what. Why is it that Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos are allowed to buy up all the land in this country? And no one questions that. But the idea of giving every American enough land to get by, maybe have a small garden or a farm or something like that, that's insane, and no one's allowed to talk about that. And that's some communist conspiracy that no one's ever going to imagine ever taking shape here.
Well, this
I
doesn't-
think that's insane.
Well, compromise. All of the land seized by the Bureau of Land Management, we break it apart and we give pieces of it to various American citizens.
I was going to say, this doesn't really sound like communism. It almost sounds like just a form of socialism that you're describing, that you want the government to do more for the American people. Because communism would be the government owns all the land. We're not getting it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's not the case in China. China, they've given land to the people. But what I think you can
But
say...
they're a weird kind of like post-communist, like authoritative
yeah,
state.
it's like land leases, right?
Yeah, well, China is 100% ML line. I mean, you look at Mao, you look at Deng Xiaoping, you look at Xi Jinping. I mean, you read his books, Governance of China. It's all an ML line. It's 100% Marxist-Leninist. And there's a lot of people who try to say, well, China's like semi-capitalist. It's a capitalist communist state. It's because they don't want to admit that communism is actually winning, whereas pure capitalism here, or corporate capitalism, whatever you want to call it, is failing beyond belief. And the last thing I'll say is about government takeover. I think that there should be government takeover, like what Russia's doing. Russia has Gazprom. They're utilizing the interests of the country, oil, natural gas, to benefit the public. I mean, you look at some of the finest infrastructure that's been built in Russia. It's happening because of the revenue generated by their utilities. We have utilities here that are only enriching these shareholders of these massive corporations that do nothing in the interest of the working man. And they actually indebt many Americans based upon how expensive basic utilities are.
Let's read some more Super Chats. Heron Gaming News says, Tim, how much closer do you think we are to seeing people who voted for Trump being arrested? I don't know. Several weeks passed? I mean, 2.5 years passed? How many people got arrested for being at the Capitol on January 6th but didn't actually go in the building? How many people were just there at the rally, walked up the steps confused, didn't know what was going on, and are being criminally charged? I think that qualifies for people who just voted for Trump. We're not talking about someone who smashed a window and fought cops. Yeah, I understand charges for those people, maybe 2 decades. A little bit extreme. But there are a lot of people who are like walking around confused, bumbling about, and they got criminally charged. And they got even just 2 months is insane for someone who had no idea what was going on. So yeah, that I think is already happening. All right, Matt's Magic Emporium says, can I come on and play Tim in MTG? Depends. We can play multiplayer Commander. Like, what do you think is good? 4 players?
Yeah.
4 is good for Commander. And maybe once we finally get the club up and running, which is just, everything just takes a million years. Because my job day to day is like doing this, and then everyone else is doing everything else. So it's like, if I want to open a club where we can play cards and hang out, that's on the back burner. Everybody's doing their specific job, and then like, first thing that happens is the coffee shop. It's getting delayed because we have to do remodeling and there's permits and a historic society. Once that's up and running, then we move to second floor. Then we got to install like handicap stuff. Once that's done, we do third floor. So it'll be really cool to have like what would you call it? Like a hobby shop? We're gonna have probably trading cards. We'll see if we get poker legalized. Got some really awesome stuff happening on that front. We got to figure out how to do poker properly. I don't know what the argument is to have it regulated at all. Why shouldn't it just be, if you want to play a game where you can put chips on the table, you can? I don't understand what the point of any kind of regulation on it is, but we'll see what happens. I'm talking with government about how we move forward with that. But then we're gonna have a skate shop, and it's gonna be a place you go to, hang out, watch movies, and engage in fun hobbies, play music maybe. It'll be rad. And then yes, we will have Commander, and we'll have prizes, really awesome prizes. We'll grab some more Super Chats. Raymond G. Staley Jr. says, Tim, did you see Biden walk out of the Medal of Honor ceremony? It's becoming commonplace for politicians to disrespect the nation they represent. Everyone, please run for any and all local offices. Local offices are where it's at. That's what you need to win. Mm-hmm. Yep. What do we got? Jason Hutchinson says, it's not stealing land. You can never own what you can't defend. Yeah. I think when you look at the arguments, if you look at movies like Harry Potter, and we're talking about doing these, alternate views, Harry Potter, Voldemort's a one-dimensional villain they never quite explain. He's just a supremacist who is evil for no reason. He's just like an arrogant, creepy guy. It's like, okay, well,
They give him like a tragic backstory.
sort of. He was an orphan and he was a sociopath.
And his mom like conned someone into falling in love with her, so he's up from this terrible family.
But there's no logical rhyme or reason described as to what he's doing and why, other than he's just a supremacist. But that is horribly one-dimensional. You look at modern reality and actually look to a white supremacist. They will tell you a whole bunch of stuff about why they believe what they believe. They should have gone into that with Voldemort. J.K. Rowling should have had Voldemort and like the Death Eaters explain exactly what it is they don't like about people of, mixed wizarding families or whatever. Instead, it was very, very one-dimensional. Imagine Harry Potter from the perspective of the right. We know the left says everyone's a Nazi, everyone's a supremacist. Imagine what Harry Potter would look like if you inverted it based on the culture war today. Voldemort is actually just like, we shouldn't be allowing people, through our borders when, we can't maintain this economically, things like that. It would be about national sovereignty, and it would be about economics, and it would be about fighting for the people of his country. It's not about whether or not you have magic or don't. It's about, are you paying taxes to this government, blah, 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 blah.
Wizarding taxes, and those that marry the non-wizards don't have to pay.
But like, it's fine that Voldemort's a supremacist. You can totally go with that line. He's basically Magic Hitler, but just they should have she needs to elaborate on like what it is they really wanted, and it was overly simplistic. Not to mention the Great Wizarding War. It was a civil war. It was not. It was kind of like a political uprising within their country. We know that in Harry Potter universe, there's a bunch of other countries at different schools. They weren't fighting the war. So come on, do better. Anyway, what were we talking about? Harry Potter or something? All right. Because the reason I brought that up is we were talking about Avatar and what land you could own or whatever. All right, everybody. Let's see. Austin Fairbanks says, Tim, since you're so obsessed with the modern day American Civil War, you should give The Darkest Path book by Jeff Hirsch a read or listen. It has an interesting take on everything on a very plausible future. So, right on.